Hey guys, welcome to Pretty Girl Loves Trap content. This is my review for Snowfall Season 4, Episode 1. Let's just get into it. So, we start off with a recap of Season 3 and everything that happened. I'm pretty sure you guys watched all of that already, so we don't need to go through that. So, we open up with Franklin. He's struggling getting dressed in his suit, seemingly still recovering physically and mentally, with everything that has happened thus far. He's still using his cane. He just looks real stressed. So he takes a moment from getting dressed to read the birthday card that Mel gave him for his last birthday. So he just seems like he got a lot of regret going on in that brain of his. So we definitely know that mentally, everything that has happened has taken a toll on him. So he goes to Aunt Louie's club, and her style, her club is just upgraded. Like, you could tell she's getting that new money. So she's looking awesome. Her club looks great. And she goes to update Franklin on the business. She's showing him the books. They're referencing her meetings with Teddy slash Reed. She's also showing him a room full of money and states that it's getting hard finding storage for all the money that they're getting. So, business is seeming good, but they are also talking about how they're losing power. Everybody has got their hand in the drug business, and they're not really holding a lot of weight per se in the city. So they're trying to, figure out how they're going to stay afloat. So we see Franklin and his new bodyguard. I apologize, I don't have his name at this time, but I did notice that he is actually a familiar face. He played Monk from The Wire, which is one of my other favorite shows. So it was good seeing his face. So Franklin and his new bodyguard is meeting with Teddy and Gustavo. And it seems like there has been some time that's passed since their last meeting. They're referencing a lot of the gang wars that's occurring, and the city is pretty much going down in reference to the hood and regarding to the drug business. So Franklin asked Teddy for help with stopping the violence in the city. And the scene cuts to a flashback, I believe, of earlier that day of Franklin at a funeral talking with Scully, trying to squash the beef between him and Manboy. Manboy is behind the death of the people whose funeral that they are attending. And hopefully we'll get some insight into how that beef started. We know that uh, Manboy's sister is the mother of Scully's child. So we definitely know there's a link there, but hopefully we'll get some insight soon as to how the beef started. Um, so we are, introduced to Scully's baby's mother, who was also, like I said, Manboy's sister. She's at the funeral as well. It was good seeing her face. I recognize her from All American, which is another show I watch. So pretty much Scully is not trying to hear anything that Franklin has to say. He means business and declares war on Manboy and anyone who tries to stop him retaliating. And is leaving Franklin having to find another way for the beef to be squashed. Mind you, Scully is representing the Blood Gang and Manboy is representing the Crips. So there's always going to be that beef there. So we are introduced to this woman in this office, and we find out that she is a reporter for the Herald newspaper. We eventually learned this after a couple scenes, but she is handed a file from a young assistant, and he is referencing Mel and that she has pretty much gone ghost since her father died. And the file that he's handing her includes information about her whereabouts. So, she's apparently been looking for Mel and I guess trying to get some information regarding her dad's death and also Franklin's shooting because she is the shooter. Now we see Teddy and Gustavo. They are in Tijuana, Mexico. They're sitting in a box truck on the street and is questioned by some local cops. And Gustavo questioned, well, he referenced that they had a deal with the Chief Kala And the cops advise Gustavo and Teddy that that chief is no longer in charge. So they proceed to search the truck, and of course, they find a kilo of coke. So just like that, Teddy and Gustavo go to jail. Eventually, they are released, and they speak with Fuentes, who is the new chief. And of course, Fuentes does not validate the agreement that Teddy and Gustavo had with the previous chief. So now they are in the midst of negotiations. Fuentes mentions, that they are not the only ones trafficking drugs in his city. So they are going to need to up the ante financially to be able to keep um, allowing Fuentes to look the other way, per se, in regarding to, their agreement. So we see Franklin. He goes to the projects to visit Leon. And of course, Leon has the projects on lock. He's run his own operation. And it's been a while since they have seen each other. Leon states Sissy did not allow any visitors while Franklin was recovering. And Franklin proposes to Leon that, hey, let's join forces again, in addition to helping squash the beef between Scully and Manboy. But Leon declines, so we are now witnessing the even more strained relationship between Franklin and Leon. Meanwhile, Manboy and his crew are chilling. They got women around, and his right hand man, I'm going to call him Trouble because he looks like the rapper Trouble to me, and I can't think of his current name on this show, so I'm going to refer to him as Trouble. So Trouble goes out to the backyard or the front yard with a girl. I immediately realized it's a setup. And it is. She starts doing sexual acts on him, and next thing you know, we see two Bloods standing over him, and we immediately realize that they're probably from Scully's crew. And at that moment, it was a done deal for him. I mean, the next day, we see a young boy discovering Trouble dead. He was beaten to death behind home plate at a baseball field. And at that point, we know Manboy is going to retaliate hard. Franklin, he meets up at Aunt Louie's, and we see Uncle Jerome and Peaches there as well. Aunt Louie is stating the corner boys are scared to sell on the street. I mean, the violence has gotten crazy and it's messing up the business. Franklin comes up with a plan to pretty much have both sides regarding to Manboy and Scully take each other out, because he thinks that taking them out will eliminate the violent issues that's going on in the city. So now we see Teddy, and he's updating his CIA files in the office. He's using coke, which I call booger sugar, to help his fatigue. I mean, he's working all night. He seems drained and exhausted with his double life with drug trafficking and being a CIA agent. Um, so, it looks like it's wearing down on him. So we see Franklin going to see Scully, who is doing his daughter's hair. I think that was so cute. Of course, him being a crazed, deranged gangster, he's just doing her hair. That was just a cute little scene. And Franklin propositions Scully with a gun deal, offering Scully to meet with his gun connect. And Scully is not really trusting this situation, but he agrees to it anyway. Mind you, Scully's baby mother slash Manboy's sister is there watching and listening the whole conversation. She's going to be a problem. I know it. Eventually, she's going to pretty much probably tell Manboy what's going on. It is not going to look good for Franklin. But next, we see Franklin going to Manboy, filling him in with his interaction with Scully. So we are now seeing Franklin's plan kind of going into action at this point. And I believe his plan is to try to appear to be on Manboy's side so Scully can be taken out, therefore eliminating the need for additional violence. Because we know Scully, he can't be stopped at this point. Manboy is skeptical, so you could tell he's kind of thinking it over. Meanwhile, Teddy and Gustavo visits Avi. Oh my God, I miss Avi so much. It was good to see him in his Versace-inspired wardrobe. For some reason, Avi is not necessarily delivering on his end of their gun deal. And Teddy wants Avi to go to Panama to fix this issue. Avi declines and states he would send his right hand man to do so. And at the table, Teddy shoots or grazes his right hand man to show Avi, no, we mean business. Like, you need to handle this on your own. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But we also see Franklin. He's going to his parents' house and propose that they go to Aunt Louie's New Year's Eve party to squash the beef with them. And we saw last season that, they were kind of having a family feud. So I guess Franklin's trying to bring the family back together. His parents aren't trying to hear it. So Franklin kind of goes by itself. So we cut to this scene of the New Year's Eve party. It's popping. It's packed. So we see that Teddy and Gustavo show up, and we realize that Franklin invited them, and it was an interesting surprise. We also see Franklin's old fling is there, so they talk and catch up. Leon shows up, and once he sees Gustavo, he goes off. He's asking, like, why is he there? And Franklin tells Leon, like, Gustavo's family. So Leon looks at Franklin like, oh, really, nigga? Like, are you serious? So, and mind you, Leon is mad because Lucia and Gustavo are pretty much responsible for Kevin's death in a sense. And they also provided the Mexicans with the recipe. So, Leon, he's definitely, understandably pissed off and mad that, Franklin seemingly is choosing Gustavo over him. So Leon, he draws a gun on Gustavo, and Franklin steps in front of him. And, Leon and Franklin proceeds to argue. And Leon pretty much said he's done with Franklin. Franklin seems to be stressed, and he's getting worn down mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like, he has a lot going on, and you can tell he's tired. So we see this reporter for the newspaper. She goes to Andre's sister's house, and we see Mel there. Oh my God, I was so happy to see Mel there. And she was all cleaned up and prim. And, it was definitely what I feel we was all hoping for. So, the reporter is asking Mel to, just provide some information regarding, her father's death and Franklin's shooting. And Mel, she's really not trying to give no information up. She's responsible for, Franklin being shot. And based on Mel's, her demeanor, she, quote unquote, found religion. Like, she's really talking like in a trance. She's giving me some real Get Out vibes. Like, she looks like she has been hypnotized. But I'm just happy to see her seemingly to be cleaned up. But the investigator is really trying to get her to, just give some information to help, into her investigation. Melanie doesn't necessarily seem like she's for it, but it looks like there may be an opening. But we'll have to see, how that goes. So we now see Manboy and his crew. They're strapping up. Scully and his crew, they're doing the same. Franklin is strapping up as well. He's at his mom's house. He looks stressed. And his dad sees him leaving, proceeding to leave. And his dad, he got that father intuition, just trying to bring up old memories and try to convince Franklin to stay and watch a movie with him. And, Franklin tears up a bit, but he knows he has to go. He's trying to save his neighborhood. So he's definitely going to leave. His dad, of course, is disappointed, but Franklin started a plan and he can't back out of it now. So Franklin walks out of the house and the episode ends. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I truly appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And talk to you later. Bye.